I find your explanation reductive and actually insulting, including to black Americans, to say that black people today, compared to 1964, 1865, haven't made progress in part because of the freedoms we secured. And the Second Amendment was
black
part
people,
of what secured
hang on,
that
please.
freedom.
I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear. So hang on one second. So to say that black people, say what you said again.
Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after their Second Amendment rights were secured.
They were not secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not, you are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the Civil Rights Movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to happen.
And you know how they got it?
War
They got their Second Amendment rights, and they actually got, the NRA played a big role in that. But today, Don, the
NRA did not play a big role.
Absolutely, they trained black Americans how to use firearms.
That's a lie. That's not. The NRA did not play a big role.
This is just historical fact. But
not historical fact.
The part that I find,
because you say it's historical fact,
the part that I find insulting is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I have a different point of view.
Black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this with due respect.
In China, if you're a woman, single, and over 30, you are called 剩女, which means leftover woman in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you are called 攞底橙, 賣剩蔗, and 攝做辣, which means orange at the bottom of the basket, the sugar cane that didn't get sold, and the thing used for filling the gap of the stove. But if you're a man, single, and over 30, you are called 钻石王老五, which means a diamond bachelor in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you are called 笋盤, which means quality real estate.
KAL HALAL YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM Rakadash Digital Epistle to the 12 tribes of Israel, to the so-called Negro, to the so-called Latino, to the so-called Native, to the so-called Hispanic, to the so-called West Indian, what we are known on the West Coast, we're scattered, to the corners of the earth, Double honors to the apostles, the elders and apostles who've been laboring, in this truth, and honor to any brother, present on the likewise doctrine, honors to any brother, who also, believe in the likewise doctrine, and to sisters who also believe in, Why trimmest thou ways? Why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love? Therefore hath thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways.
I think it's a wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians.
And they're out here, playing the political landscape, and who's a grifter like politicians, sincere people go into politician, to become a politician. Sincere people go and push the news, but it takes a certain only dumb people could be a president. Only dumb people could be a politician. Dumb people could be in the news because, you get to a point where they're either gonna have to take you out, you're gonna realize you ain't got no power, and all you could do is just get the bag.
I think I'm not in their prime. Nikki Haley is in their prime. Sorry.
And the spirit of truth has been, covering, the four corners of the earth, spreading. And these people, there's too much truth, man, for the new world order, man. Look at this sodomite. Jake don't like him. People don't like him. But no, let's see what gets him removed.
A woman is considered being in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait,
that's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. It's just like prime. If you look it up, it'll say, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't
40s. Oh, I got
I'm
another
not saying I
decade.
agree with that. So I think she has to be careful. Wow, dig yourself. Is in her prime. Sorry, when a woman is considered being in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another
I'm not saying I
decade.
agree with that. So I think she has to be careful.
Wow, dig yourself a hole there, son. Lennon had to apologize quickly on Twitter, saying, quote, "The reference I made to a woman's prime this morning was inartful, irrelevant, as colleagues and loved ones have pointed out, and I regret it. A woman's age doesn't define her either personally or professionally." By the way, Rachel, Don Lemon did not appear on his show this morning.
You can't even say, well, a woman's in her prime. See what type of world we live in. Can't even say, woman, he's being generous. He's woman's prime in her 20s, 30s, and 40s. So this man is being extra generous, man. And this is offensive to women. No, let's tell put a time limit, man. The Chinese know what's up. And you tell women, this how much time you have for viability, so she runs out and get a husband. Oh, it's weird. I can't just, Google it and press right here. But so most Americans agree that that a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s, 30s, and maybe 40s. However, the difference exists between genders and age. 2/3, 67% agree that a woman is in her prime, the 20s, 30s, and maybe 40s. One fifth agree with. 1/5 say they agree strongly. Men, 72% are more likely than women, 62%, to say that a woman is in her prime from their 20s to 40s. Similarly, 76% of Americans agree that 18 to 24, 34, with this agree with this statement. 18% points to those points to those percent higher than those ages 55. 56%. So if let's go ask women with children out of the workforce. When women, without children out of the workforce, and let's say, what do you think the most important part of a woman's life? Is it career or is it family? They're gonna tell you family, or even career. A woman can only work so much. They're not trying to hire old women. They're trying to get rid of old women. You go look at a woman's peak fertility. Women's productive years are between late teens and late 20s. So really, that's her prime. By age 30, fertility and the ability to get pregnant starts to decline. This decline happens faster once you reach your mid 30s. By 45, it has declined so much that getting pregnant naturally is unlikely. So unless you go have some geriatric babies. And it's crazy. The average marriage is 30. So of course, you have all these mercury shots. That increases, um, the to the ism, But plus, you got all these women on average, you just had that, even in this age, the average marriage used to be 27, like it is for most countries. It's even pushed back to 30, 31. Onto Down syndrome occurs in all races. One in 1,250 for the age of 25. 1 in 1,000 at the age of 31, and 1 in 400 at the age of 45. However, 80% of babies born with Down syndrome are born to women under 35. So mercury shots and all that poison and shit. But it goes to show you that's the woman's pride. That's offensive to this world, man. So why tremendous your ways to seek love, man? And they're still gonna get exposed. They're still gonna cut you off, man, for for pushing a little bit of truth. Let's go look at
I think it's a wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look.
Why are you not investing in tax liens? No, seriously. Why are you not investing into
somebody or the consequences it might have? That's a pattern. It's I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's protected by the fact that he's African American, gay man on television. After he says, do you like me? Is that why you're effing with me? And I said, no, I just wanted to say what's up, man. And I look at my boss and I look back and he has his hand in his pants, rubbing himself aggressively. And he shoves his 2 fingers up underneath my mustache, thrusts my head back and says, do you like your dick? And he said it like 2 or 3 times after that. Anybody that acts like that in public and without any fear of what it might do to somebody or the consequences it might have, that's a pattern. It's I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's protected by the fact that he's African American, gay man on television, and I'm just some nobody.
Unlike men, whose reproductive organs produce millions of fresh sperm on a daily basis, women are born with all their eggs that they will ever possess. Moreover, this number steadily declines as a woman ages, from 1 million eggs at birth to 300,000 eggs at puberty. So by the time you could actually have kids, that's 1/3 gone, over 1/3. At 2,500 eggs at the age of 27 and 1,000 eggs at the age of 50. Of all of these, however, just 300 to 400 eggs would maybe make it potential. We get to understand in Esau world, an allegation is really just a power play. To act like you're gonna get canceled, you're just gonna get shuffled. They're just gonna shuffle you around.
Well, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Today we did learn that Tucker Carlson has been fired from Fox News. Everyone is talking about it. So we will hear also tonight on the show, and we also have other things to talk about. We do have John Kiriakou joining the show tonight to be discussing the new information that has come out regarding Joe Biden and the fact that to have been directed by Antony Blinken, who is now the Secretary of State, will be a threat, in fact, to humanity. It's more than just kids copying essays, plagiarism, artists having their songs replicated by AI. Little to no warning. According to inside sources, Tucker, as well as the senior executive producer, Justin Wells, were both fired a mere 10 minutes before the network made the public announcement today. So this makes sense because last Friday, Tucker gave no indication that he wouldn't be back. In fact, he said, see you Monday at the end of his show. He was joking around, eating pizza and said, see you Monday. So no indication whatsoever. We're now learning more information. Inside anonymous sources are telling outlets like the New York Times and Los Angeles Times and Wall Street Journal, and several outlets are getting some inside information from inside Fox News, that it was Rupert Murdoch who made the decision after consulting with board members last Friday. So apparently the decision was made last Friday. Maybe they mulled it over the weekend. Maybe they were dealing with lawyers trying to figure it all out. But then suddenly Monday, Tucker finds out, and 10 minutes later they issue a statement saying we're parting ways. It was a very plain announcement. Didn't say much. Didn't even give Tucker a final show to say goodbye to his audience. Nothing. They just ousted him. And said not much tonight.
Yeah, a lot of small hats were able to you know change their ancestry to the Scottish Ireland, especially when it came to immigration. These people wanted slave labor and cheap labor. They allowed these people to forge their they look like Amalek. They would they would act as if they came from Scotland.
Brian Kilmeade was filling in for Tucker Carlson, and he just said, as you know, Tucker Carlson isn't here anymore, and he's still a good friend, and that's that, and moved on with the show. Not much was said. Now, there are a number of theories as to why Tucker Carlson was pushed out, and honestly, we may never know the real reason, depending on Tucker's non-disclosure agreement that he's likely to sign if he hasn't already. But let's go over some of the prevailing theories and see if any of them make sense. Now, the biggest theory that's circulating out.
Matthew 16:26. For what is a man profited if he gain the whole world, and lose his own soul? For what shall a man exchange for his soul? These people on top of the world, man. You see how much you got to toe the line? Agenda pushing. And Fox brought out a lot of good stuff, man. These niggas been sounding like the prophets. A couple times, Carlson is sounding like the prophets. World War III, especially a person like him, it hurts people. Even the Americans, they would rather much more talk about the cultural war, because they truly don't believe anybody could overtake America. World War III, going into World War III, the central bank digital currencies. Russia's plan to annihilate America. People don't want to look at that, especially the American with investments and properties. People don't want to think about that, man. And that's why he's the only popular show. He's the most engaging. They had to get rid of that man.
This has to do with Dominion voting lawsuit. As many of you know, last week Fox News settled with Dominion in a defamation case for a whopping $787 million. And many are claiming that the timing suggests Tucker's ousting had something to do with him spreading misinformation about Dominion and now paying for it. But that actually doesn't make a lot of sense, because Tucker was actually skeptical of the entire claim and said as much on his show. In fact, right after the election in 2020, he said, quote, on his show, "We don't know how many votes were stolen on Tuesday night. We don't know anything about the software that many say was rigged. We don't know. We ought to find out," he said. But here's what we do know. On a larger level, at the highest levels, actually, our system isn't what we thought it was. It's not as fair as it should be, not even close. Carlson then said, false claims of fraud can be every bit as destructive as the fraud itself. And he said the fraud that we can confirm does not seem to be enough to alter the election results. We should be honest and tell you that. So he was actually one of the voices who was skeptical of the claims that were being made by Sidney Powell about Dominion voting systems. He was, as we learned from the lawsuit in the depositions, that he had
still lost his job.
Several people at Fox News, his producer.
Going against election fraud, which we get to see. People really sue you over that, which we know is obvious. Hopefully I don't get taken down for this video. Don't get taken down for that. But clearly, he ain't moving no merch. Biden ain't never moved no merch. Obama merched up. All about that change, whatever that was. He had that merch. People wear that Obama, man. Trump, MAGA, people wore that. People rocked that. When people wear that, Trump. The Trump hat is the ultimate promotion. If he didn't even care about presidencies, just about the merch, he gave people, Trump, he don't believe in what the Edomites believe. These Edomites, not even just even these Edomites, man. But, people's holding on to Trump. You're telling these people, Trump supports the vaccine. Trump is not anti-vaccine. People be doing, got myself. But, people tell you, oh no. I mean, oh no, but people who support Trump say he's for, he's against. But clearly, people don't realize, man, all of this, man, it's Satan versus Satan. It's a political, it's just Marxism. Matthew 12:26, man. If Satan cast out Satan, and he is divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? An election is just pointless, man. Calling out the election fraud could get you sued.
saying, I don't believe this. This is a lie. Sidney Powell's lying. This is a disgrace. He made many comments as such. Now, he didn't really publicly come out and say those things that aggressively, but him saying the fraud that we can confirm does not seem to be enough to alter the election results. We should be honest and tell you that. Goes to show that he was not one of the main prominent voices pushing the Dominion voting, the claims about, who I believe is who did more to push the claims about Dominion than Tucker Carlson ever did. So to think that he was ousted on the heels of this Dominion voting defamation settlement, and that it's linked to that, really the timing, I would think, is up maybe the real reason why Tucker Carlson was fired. You'd rather have all the mainstream media say, well, the Dominion voting case was settled for $787 million. It's a lot of money. And suddenly Tucker's gone. So you would just connect those dots and you would just not look any further than that. That's what a lot of people are doing. But it's probably not the Dominion voting system. It's just a good excuse. Some other reasons why he may or may not have. Now, we know a lot of anti-war voices definitely get censored. A lot of anti-war voices definitely get the back burner. They get the boot. They get ousted from their positions in mainstream media. That happens. I would say it happens all the time, but I can't really say that because, quite frankly, there aren't a lot of anti-war voices. You don't see anti-war voices all the time. You don't see them enough for them to actually be ousted from networks all the time. But it does happen when it does happen when anti-war voices rise up. But Tucker Carlson, what made him so appealing to
Isaiah 10:6, I will send him against the hypocritical nation, against the people of my wrath. I'll give them charge over thee to take thy spoil, to give to a prey, and to trim them down like the mire of the street. Well, to supply the Israelites, man. Man, look at even Edom, the hypocritical nation. Just being anti-war, being anti-blood, being anti-violence in the land of free, in the home of the brave, and a peaceful land, that brought prosperity to the earth. Even if you're against one war and pro one war, you'd be against war with Russia, I guess, the Ukraine. But he would be pro-China. That's not enough for these men. But I guess he's cool with, the mass incarceration. He's cool with the war on drugs, which was implemented to take out the hipster, was implemented to take out the Negro. So, man, it's just a hypocritical nation, man.
many of us was he was actually calling it and saying it calling it as he saw it, telling it like it is, and really being very skeptical of many of the war narratives. However, I don't know if I would call Tucker totally and completely anti-war. He was very hawkish on China. That is something that the establishment is pretty much in lockstep with him on, is the rhetoric against China, the calling out China as really the true, we've got to watch them. So it's really unclear how much his anti-war sentiments had to do with his ouster. He's been anti-war for years. He was pretty much lockstep with Trump on foreign policy most of the time. Trump was also somewhat quasi-anti-war, definitely more anti-war than than the current president, that's for sure. Previous presidents also, that's for sure. And so Tucker was in line with Trump during the entire Trump administration. So if you're going to oust Tucker for having anti-war stances, it seems that you would have done it well before now. You would have maybe done it when he was calling for Trump to be meeting with Kim Jong-un, to be negotiating peace with North Korea, to be, many of the things that Tucker was advising Trump on, traveling with Trump to South Korea, very much being in the ear of Trump. You would think that if they really were truly worried about his anti-war stances, they would have gotten rid of him a long time ago. And I'll get to why I think he really was fired, and it does have something to do with that. But I want to go on to some more of the theories before we get to the reason why I think Tucker Carlson was ousted.
And he's talking about, your prime years for what? Your prime years for your career. Your prime years for fertility. What you talking about? And with all that they learn to be idle, to be still, wandering about from house to house. Not only idle, but tattlers also, busybodies, speaking things which they ought not. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully, for some already have turned aside after Satan. And these women are turned aside after Satan, man.
Some are saying Tucker Carlson fired
these younger women in their prime years. They usually be married. That's offensive.
There last month, a booking producer on Tucker Carlson's show filed a lawsuit claiming all kinds of things from sexual harassment to anti-Semitism, essentially a hostile work environment. And she has all of this evidence and cites many, many things. She was saying that that she was denied opportunities for promotion, that she was treated significantly worse than her male counterparts, she's including those who are less qualified than her. She said that the work environment subjugates women based on vile sexist stereotypes, typecasts religious minorities, and belittles their traditions, and demonstrates little to no regard for those suffering from mental illness. She used to work on Marie.
Isaiah 3:12, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead the cause thee to err and destroy thy ways of thy past. You know? Women are the oppressors, man. You can see all these people got these allegations. The women take them down. You know, it seemed like Don Lemon kept his job. If that's what happened.
Bartiramo's show said that the Tucker show and that
when they want to get rid of you, when they want to get you radioactive, man, they just throw an allegation out there. You clearly get hired. No, this fake me too.
Thinking Maria's show was bad and she thought Tucker's would be better and it was way, way worse, she was claiming. So her lawsuit, the thing about this lawsuit is there's a lot of people named in it. So if the firing were truly about the lawsuit and about this former producer's claims, which by the way would still need to be tested in court. I mean, ultimately they're likely to settle this. Usually lawsuits like this get settled, but who knows, Fox maybe will take this all the way. It'll be a difficult one for Fox to win because Fox News is known for having Ralph Giordano, Alexander McCaskill, Justin Wells. The Los Angeles Times are claiming that Rupert Murdoch really got rid of him because of this lawsuit. But if you're going to get rid of him because of this lawsuit, you would have to get rid of everyone else. These things just have to add up. We have to figure out what actually, no doubt that Rupert Murdoch was, by the way, sat down last night with 60 Minutes and said that Tucker Carlson has it out for me. He's trying to get me. Ray Epps made these claims and so there's a lot of reporting around January 6th that made a lot of people uncomfortable, including Rupert Murdoch. It is very possible that that is something that Tucker was fired over, that ultimately it had just hit its peak. And maybe Tucker was planning on another future.
And that's probably the main thing, man. If Satan casts out Satan, man, how shall he stand? Especially, man, Edom ain't not popping no more. Edom ain't born, man. That liberal man, ain't nobody want to watch that. The liberal man not entertaining. The vile person, man, shall be called no more liberal, nor the churl, so to be bountiful. Where's freedom of speech? And these people told the line.
Expose on January 6th or whatever, and that.
Yeah, man, this man was popping. Surprise, man. Definitely taking a cue from the prophets, man. And so all the grifters, Manosphere, all these people are taking cues from the Symphosphere, Jordan Peterson. All the people are taking cues out the prophets, out the Bible. Surprise. Tucker Carlson, if I ever say that in reverse all the time, draws the most Democratic viewers in key demographic, even topping Rachel Maddow. Nelson, Fusion, October. There's an entire cottage industry within the media dedicated to dissenting Carl Tuckerson's nightly news. Fox News, musing to presume liberal audiences who may not be tuning in to hear what the leading conservative voice is telling his large following, but recent data from Nelson MRI Fusion suggests those nightly dispatches may not be necessary. In October, the recent month for data is available for Carlson, 9 p.m. ET program was the top news among the Democrats in advertised coveted age range from 25 to 54, man. The Democrats are done. Ain't nobody messing with the Democrats anymore. These people have been roasted. Obama would be the last favored, have a favorable public view of a president. And that's why they needed Trump. That's why he was great as a villain, man. You get to blame everything on him. The only thing these people have left is January 6th. That's all the people have left. The people who support Biden can only bring that day. Oh, this would, Oh, he caused them to at the and had them at trying to take America back because he was too busy trying to lose, or he was he was offended he was trying to lose. When it's clear, man, this man right here, sound like straight confirming mad sea theories. showing you that America has nothing in store for you, showing the wickedness of evil E, is more popular amongst the Democrats than any other Democratic, talking head. They can have this. Nelson MRI Fusion numbers reveals that in October, Fox News unsurprisingly got a majority of the audience of the self-proclaimed Republicans, with 69% of them overall tuning in. Total day programming to 73% of them in Democrats tune into prime time programming because these people don't have anything. Man, the churro no more bountiful, man. I mean, the liberal no more bountiful.
The higher ups, Rupert Murdoch in particular, queasy, and ultimately they decided to get rid of him before he could do any more on January 6th. That makes a bit more sense. There's a lot of people, a lot of shows, a lot of independent creators who have been silenced, censored, booted from YouTube, demonetized over January 6th specifically. Not over their anti-war stances, not over maybe, we've seen independent creators even be accused of, and other leaders in independent movements being accused of some sort of sexual misconduct. They don't get demonetized for that. They don't get deplatformed for that. They don't get demonetized or deplatformed for their anti-war stances, but they did get demonetized and deplatformed for discussing January 6th and election fraud. That is very possible that was too much for Rupert Murdoch, that maybe Tucker wasn't there when in line with Lou Dobbs and Janine Pirro when it came to the Dominion voting claims, but Tucker was very much leading the charge when it comes to January 6th and the claims around January 6th. That leads me to the real reason why I believe Tucker Carlson was fired. And I do believe it's because of the second rise of Trump. I do believe that the powers that be are so completely frightened at the possibility of Trump taking back the White House that they have shown us over and over and over again that they are willing to do anything it takes to stop that from happening. And one thing we've learned now from 2016 and his win was that the media largely blamed themselves afterwards, that they looked and they said, oh, we covered his campaign too much. We gave him too much press. We gave him too much, he was in the news all the time.
You triple our troubles, and we're better off than any other people on earth. And we've asked so much of government, and we've gotten in the habit over the last 40 years of thinking that government has the answers. There's very little that government can do as efficiently and as economically as the people can do themselves. And if government would shut the doors and sneak away for about 3 weeks, we'd never miss them. You triple.
And that boosted his numbers, and that's ultimately why he ended up beating Hillary Clinton. Many of us don't really buy that, but that's what the media thinks, and that's maybe part of the reason people believe that Trump won. So it makes sense to me.
Over and over, they told us they are not the party they were.
As they continued their never-ending witch hunt, the president against Donald Trump and ensuring that he doesn't take back the White House, that they would do everything possible, including removing some of the most prominent voices who were lifting him up. And what happened last week? He had a big interview with Donald Trump. 2 weeks ago, or was the Donald Trump one, right? Donald Trump was 2 weeks ago, right? And then Elon Musk was last week or something. So he sits down with Donald Trump. He's promoting Donald Trump. He shares many of the same views that are part of the Donald Trump.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
The elect. We've been telling you, brothers, since we came on YouTube, it's all about the elect. I know you read the whole Bible. So then you would know the color of Christ. Give me that. Since he missed it, we're going to refresh his memory. Since he read the whole Bible.
And how you read the Bible precept upon precept. What do you say? I didn't mention the color.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 1, verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the 7, hold the garment down to the foot, and girdle on the head with the golden girdle. His hair and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like a divine brass, as if they burned in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters.
Go back to his hair.
His hair and his hairs were white like wool.
What does it mean by his head and his hair were white like wool? What do you think?
He gonna play him? I don't know.
Okay, that's that. Well, he had gray hair. Right, yeah. You have young people. There's a girl I know who grew up with. At the age of like 23, she got a full head of gray hair, white hair. That's from peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide coming through your system, like you. That's from peroxide. Okay, that's within your system. So it said he had gray hair, but what else did it say?
Like wool.
Like wool. So it's talking about the texture of his hair. Who has woolly hair? You don't know who has woolly hair? Come on. Does this hair look? This is the perfect example. Does this hair look woolly to you? Yeah. Okay, good. So what would that? What would
Okay, you can't play dumb no more.
When you read that all over again, read it again.
His hair and his hairs were white like wool.
Meaning his head and his hairs, the hairs on his face, but they wore beards because that was assumed to be from Africa. Yeah. Okay, now listen.
Egypt again.
This is Moses speaking to the children of Israel. Because this is referring to America. When you want to register a car, they give you an application in English, not as far as you or Russian. All right. This is the so-called American dollar bill. It's nothing but a Federal Reserve note. If you look, I don't know how good your eyes are. What does it say? I knew it. Whoever this is. Come on. What is it about?
Hey, tell him to get the martial law sign up that has that on it.
Thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. That's America. You know, which really are a bunch of 50 different countries. You know, with all different laws and ideologies, which every man's gonna fight, man. Every man gonna fight, man, for belief in these race wars, the ideology. You gonna have people fighting for them juice passes, and they're gonna be fighting you juice at the chip, because that's the future world they're gonna live in.
It means new, right? Order means what? This order means
Oh, the chip one.
Go to the unwalled villages. I will go to them that are not at rest and that dwell in safety. All of them dwelling without walls, having neither bars or gates, man. And that's evil E.
In the Eagles,
the chip sign has it. Yeah, that has it right there.
Good. What did he work out of many one? So this guy, the so-called great president, the father of our country. I'm talking about Obama. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about Obama. He's our new father, right? Right. He's a black man. When he passed, I guess the oldest guy, don't ask, don't tell. He said, we made that speech. He said, but we are not a nation of don't ask, don't tell. He said, we are a nation out of many one. And what he said in English was, for his school. Yes. Why are we saying that?
It's like an actual motto.
But it's in Latin.
Yeah, good point.
It's in Latin. Why is everything written in Latin? It's the official language of the United States.
Okay, but why am I going into this?
If you're a so-called white man, if your line goes back to the Edomites, do you know anything about Edom or Esau?
Yeah.
So what do you know about Edom or Esau?
Well, Esau.
I read the whole Bible.
Brother Esau? Jacob's brother?
Jacob's brother.
Yeah.
Okay, who are the descendants of Jacob?
I think the Jews and then the Arabs are the descendants of Esau.
Are you talking about the white Jews?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, we're the descendants of Jacob. Jacob was a black man. Abraham was black.
Bro, that's the doctrine. You know, the small outside of people. The Edomites are the Arabs. They stood on those people.
All right, Isaac, his son, was black. Right. Rebecca was black. So if they were all black, what color did Jacob come out? He would come out as a black man. Right. Now, his brother Esau didn't come out as a black man. He came out as, I'll use this term, an albino. You see a black person that looks like a white person, they call him an albino. But guess what? White people are albinos too. You're an albino, okay?
You're depressing me.
Well, you gotta get ready, man. If you are Edomite.
He's impressed, man. Even a rich man. You're impressing me, man. You know, Jeremiah 14. You mourneth, and the gates, therefore, thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. They cry. The cry of Jerusalem has gone up.
It's going to happen very soon. It's happening now. How's it called? Go ahead.
Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
Because the first thing that you mentioned when I asked you your religion, you said Christian. Right. And I said, what does the word Christian mean? You said follower of Christ. We're here to the book of Acts 11:26. I'm going to show you a true Christian.
Acts chapter 11 verse 26. When he had found them, he brought them into Antioch, and it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people.
These are the apostles. Right. Go ahead.
And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
So the only Christians were the true followers of Christ. Go from there to St. John 4:19.
John chapter 4 verse 19. The woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain.
This is a woman of Samaria. Go ahead.
Our fathers,
which thought she was a Jew, but the Lord, a transplanted Jew. Go ahead.
Our fathers worshipped in this mountain. And ye say that in Jerusalem is a place where men ought to worship. Jesus said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
So, in him making that statement, for salvation is of the Jews, he excluded her. Why? Because she was not a real Jew. Go ahead.
But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth.
Go ahead.
For the Father seeketh such to worship him. True worship. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
Go ahead.
The woman said unto him, I know that Messiah cometh, which is called Christ. When he is come, he will tell us all things. Jesus said to her, I that speak unto thee am he.
And he said he admitted that he was the Messiah. Go ahead.
And upon this came...
See how wicked this is, man? I gotta go to the website. This is from the Zionist Bible, the most popular Bible, man, Ham, one of the youngest sons of Noah, born probably 96 years before the flood. And one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. But but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites.
And marveled that he talked with the woman. Yet no man said, what seekest thou? Or why talkest thou with him? The woman then left her word
We are not him.
and went away into the city and said to the men, come, see, a man was told me all the things that ever I did. Is not this the Christ? Then they were out of the city and came unto him. And in the meanwhile his disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat. But he said to them, I have meat to eat. And you know
Go back to the 19th verse. All right. Go back to the point. Was salvation is of the Jews.
Right. John chapter 4 verse.
That means all. Go ahead.
Go not into the way of
Testimony against them and the Gentiles. 4 and 19.
John chapter 4 verse.
I'll find it. Okay. First thing that you mentioned when I asked you that you're religious, you said Christian. Right. And I said, well, you will come out as a black man. Right. Now his brother Esau didn't come out as a black man. Albinos too. That's you're an albino. Okay. You're depressing me. Well, you gotta get ready, man. If you are Edomite.
I don't know if he said you're impressing me or depressing me.
You're an Edomite. Very soon. It's happening now. As we talk. Go ahead.
Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
Because the first thing that you mentioned when I asked you that you're religious, you said Christian. Right. And I said, what does the word Christian mean? You said follow Christ. Bring me to the book of Acts 11:26.
And it came to
I'll use the word that's reincarnated.
Is that good or bad?
Well, it's good for us. It's bad for you. It's bad for you. Because you're going into slavery. I'm cutting to the chase. Why? Because you're an Edomite. What's your nationality? That's not a nationality. What's the word that's reincarnated?
Is that good or bad?
That's not a nationality. What's the word that's reincarnated?
Is that good or bad?
Well, it's good for us. It's bad for you. It's bad for you. Why? Because you're going into slavery. I'm cutting to the chase.
Cutting to the chase, man. We gotta cut to the chase with these people, man. Forget it. Forget it. You know? For the rich man, they were full of violence, and the inhabitant, therefore, have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth. And the violent land, man. He's speaking lies. He living in a land full of lies, spreading these lies, man. I bet he'll claim that the Bible is a European book. Revelation 6:15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chiefs and captains, and the mighty man. That is a mighty man. That's a rich man. That's a great man. Every bondsman and every free man, he's free. Those are multi-million-dollar contracts. Hid themselves in the dens and the rocks and mountains. He might even have a bunker. He on the news. He be talking about America getting destroyed. He probably got a bunker. He probably got friends who invited him to bunkers. That he may eat the flesh of kings. Revelation 19:18. He may eat the flesh of kings, eat the flesh of captains, eat the flesh of mighty men. He may eat the flesh of kings and the flesh of captains and the flesh of mighty men and the flesh of horses and of them that sit on them, the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And coming soon, man, there's gonna be a time where all these rich men, you're gonna be able to next to the poor man, the rich man, the man who got the financial freedom, financially broke, dead slave. You're gonna be eating together with men like him. Thou art wearied in thy multitude, thy counsels, thy astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators. It's all surprising to him, even if not taken by the Israelites. Even if you was thinking about slavery to the Israelites, you should be thinking about slavery. Let's keep on it, man. Whenever your nation falls from power, you're a slave. People go in there, they sell you. Cut your if you're being taken out of rights of people, they just take you out right there. Take the children as slaves, daughters as concubines. As he did to our people, his forefathers did to our people, and his forefathers benefited, which is a history he doesn't feel like he should have to feel sorry for. So why would we? The monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. And that's truly what they believe. People like him believe, We are the white men. We're the Edomites. We cannot go down. Man, we need to wake America up. This is our country. Don't let it be taken away by no sodomites. Don't let it be taken away by no Chinese interests. Don't fight Russia. We ain't got no problem with Russia. Don't go to war with Ukraine. It's pointless. We gonna lose. Go get Moab. Let's go get Moab. Moab. Man, Moab. Moab, man. You know what, man? Yeah, Moab not playing. Moab. We gonna fight Moab, not Russia. You know. But and he said, Genesis 25:23, and the Lord Yahweh said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, two manners of people shall be separated in thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other. And no, well, how do they justify our enslavement? By saying our brains are smaller, we're stupid, but we're psychological, stronger, physically stronger, man, suited for the slave labor. And still, they tell their doctors that we don't feel pain. The doctors don't believe us when we're in pain, which is lucky. So we aren't subjected to so much pharmaceutical. But they don't believe that we're in pain. They believe we feel less pain, which goes back to slavery. So they're less likely to use anesthetic or not necessarily. They're just less likely to to comfort you and your pain. Especially for women, dealing with babies. They're more likely to die in the hands of a white nurse. Doctor. They just don't really believe them. They don't really care, man. One shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Why am I going? Because you're an Edomite. Really? What's your nationality? That's not a nationality. Language of the United States of America is English. Because this is a Roman Empire all over again. This is the Roman Empire coming back. I'll use a word that's reincarnated.
Is that good or bad?
Well, it's good for us. It's bad for you. It's bad for you. Why? Because you're going into slavery. You need to
This letter was edifying. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, two people, two manners of people shall be separated from thy bowels, one stronger than the other, the elder shall serve the younger. So this lesson was edifying.